Welcome everyone to episode 3 of the Form Hunter. Last week was a wee bit of a tricky assignment, as you'd call it. There was a few standing starts. The weather was horrendous in Canterbury and up in Auckland, and didn't really help our chances too well. We still managed to find a couple of double price winners there. I think I tipped out Cheezel at $6. Tipped out Pay Me Speedy in the last down in Chicago at $6. We went all right on the Saturday, but that Friday night we were a bit under the pump, as you would say. But hopefully, Tarnis Racing, another week, another chance. So we just keep going, and we're going to be starting off with Riverton tomorrow, Thursday. We've got race 1, Justine Jaccka. It's the second best bet of the day. We're going to take a look at its last start, which was its first start. It trialled up quite nicely. Here it is in the red. The tape's fly and it's back pedaling, so I think it actually steps quite nicely. We'll just rewind it again. You can see it's just on the back foot there, and there's a bit of traffic around it. So I think it's better drawn tomorrow, and hopefully Maddie Williamson, or I think Blair Orange is actually the one who's been given the drive. Yep, Blair Orange has been given the drive, and it's at $3 quote. So Justine Jaccka looks pretty hard to beat there if it steps. Nubular Charmai's been knocking on the door. Had a nice enough run at Addington, but that was a pretty weak race. And Velocity Jet seems to have some manners, seems to have some ability, but its manners are letting it down, and it goes off stride quite a few times. But we see Justine Jaccka is able to tack on to the group, and just a bit of a wet, slodgy day. I think the weather's slightly better there tomorrow. Blair Orange got the job done on One More Moment, which I tipped out last week, and that's at the top of the field here. And Justine Jaccka comes wider on the track, has to go around the tiring Tease My Tartan, who didn't run into a top 4 surprisingly, and galloped at the start. But you can see Justine Jaccka here in the hands of Maddie Williamson, doing her best work late. Blair Orange hasn't moved a muscle as a galloper, and Justine Jaccka really hits the line nicely, and gets to within about a half length of the Power Broker. So the first race of the day, Justine Jaccka, Blair Orange, he's usually got safe hands. Justine Jaccka, pretty keen to take that $3. And then we go to race number 4, where we've got Matthew Williamson on board. He's training and driving this one. I'll just refresh this because this TAB's bloody lagging out. We don't need a lagging out when we're trying to do a bloody episode. Not ideal. So we'll hit the refresh button there. But yeah, Art Lincoln, it was heavily backed on debut. It showed a bit of gate speed, but it had to burn quite a lot of petrol to get around to the top. And yep, as you can see, Art Lincoln's been coming in again. So $8.50 about an hour and a half ago, and it's already into 7s. The brother Nathan Williamson Escobar's trialled up decently. McLean's another one who's been going all right. That's out on the arm, and the Pigs probably be the place to be here. So you'd think Maddie Williamson's sent out another good word after it failed last start. It's had a bit of money again, so you'd probably have to respect that and maybe have another play on Art Lincoln. We'll just bring up its last start and get the gate speed, because it does have a bit. So we'll have a little geese here. And I noticed it's gone away to the trials since then. Had a workout here and ran home in 56 and 7 behind Mr. Teddy, the stablemate. Obviously, there's no footage, so that isn't ideal. But this was a nice maidens race where it came dead last, but it did show a bit of early speed. And, if it can produce a similar run tomorrow with getting the top a bit easier, I think it'll be running a good top 3 or something. So it works around to the top there and gets taken on again, and then enjoys a bit of a run on the leader's back. But by then it's just done a bit too much work. So it'll be better for the outing, and it's already into $7. So obviously the stable confidence is there again. Now we go to race number 8, and that is probably my best bet of the program. In fact, it is. I've got best bet labeled right there. So Jimmy Carter had an absolutely exceptional run at Addington last start. We'll just bring it up because I think it ran home on my clock that I clocked it at as 56 and 8. The second ran home and 56.88, 28.33, 28.54, and then 28.33. So that last 400 it quickened again, and it's in a pretty I'd say I think it's dropping back in class today. Kiwi Tricks is scratched. We've got Only One Way, who's pretty talented. We've got Crusher Collins, who won nicely. Kiwi goes all right. Top Pocket Chance knocks on the door every now and then, and Brad Williamson is driving that. But I think they've given Caleb Bublitz this drive because he hasn't got too many wins, and I think this one might be a bloody shoe-in. So we've got Andy Hall here, winners mile rate, 158.4, 57.5 home. So we actually ran a little bit of 800 than the winner. And yeah, we'll just pick up Jimmy Carter here. He's down in barrier number 2. Doesn't have the best to gate speed. Sort of gets buried away on the pegs here. Fall back the inside. The rest go around him. And Jimmy Carter's just sort of waits on and out, and it never really comes. You can see here at the top of the straight, Clyde's giving a bit. Is it Clyde? No, it's not Clyde. It's the Dominator, sorry. Then there, Majestic Lavros goes to the inside, gallops. Andy Hall gets the gap and is able to shoot through. The rest are knocking on outside. But you see Jimmy Carter in the centre here, really hitting the line nicely. And in fact, if you go past the post on this next camera, we're basically up in line with Andy Hall. And, we're really strong through the line. So I think if it travels back down south again and can produce that performance, I think with any amount of luck, it'll follow out either the 1 or the 2, whoever comes out, and we can sit in the 1-1 or Leaders Trail. $4.80 seems very good shopping to me, especially when the favourite's wide out on the arm. And, it's just been going great guns, really. And I think Jimmy Carter hasn't won for a while, but it's warming its way back in to another victory. So Jimmy Carter, the best bet on the program there on Thursday. And we go to Friday night. We've got another chock-a-block of card at Addington and Alexandra Park. We've got big Group 1 races. We got the Auckland Cup. We got the Rowe Cup. And there's some quality racing going on. But we'll go to Addington first, as we did last week. And in the first race, we have Serious Moonlight that I'm keen on. Odds haven't come out yet, but this horse was really impressive last start behind Roll Your Own, who managed to get the chocolates. Pretty decent times there at Addington for this quality horse. There's some nice types in here, including The Rage, Ron McKinley, BetterwithBling, Roll Your Own. They're all decent horses, but we'll pick them up here. Serious Moonlight's drawn on the back, so can't use any of its gate speed. Sticks to its task well. Blair Orange sort of gets it locked away on the pegs here. There's nothing you can do there, drawn the back row at Addington. Able to ease off into the 1-1 as Ariella unfortunately choked down, but she's good to go. She didn't actually pass away. They just brought the black tapes up and she's fine from reading the stipe. So we did get into the 1-1 behind the Rage. Then there's a 3 wide line that comes up. So there's a lot of race moves here. I think Serious Moonlight gets held up. There's a good wall of horses in front of it for its run. Blair Orange does his best to get it out. And then it hangs in and just produces now to the outside. But it's an awful steer for Blair as he pulls the plugs now, removes the deafeners, and Roll Your Own able to swing on by with that momentum. And Absolute Dynamite, who runs second, came out and almost defeated, not almost, sorry, but did run a good brave second to Wheels of Fortune on Sunday in the Ann Thompson Memorial Series. So I think Serious Moonlight here is savaging the line, doing its best work late, and was pretty much held up for the majority of the race. Never really got going, and ran home in some nice sectionals and really hit the line strongly. So drawn the ace on Friday night. I think Robbie Close gets the drive. We know how he's been driving. and that is exceptional and aggressive and positive. So he's the man you want on board. We've got Wine Gum, who's still warming up to its task. We've got a Power Louise, a last start winner. First class, we've got a Purdon horse who's back fresh up. We've got Arabian Blue, goes all right. Art Attack's bit of a seasoned vet. And Mark Jones, actually, he hasn't driven a horse for a while, and he's driving on Friday night, so that'll be interesting. We've got Invitation Only, who's wide on the arm. It is definitely the best horse in the race, and was very unlucky in that very hot field with Sandwave and Cyrus and Can't Find a Better Man. And I Need Mickey. It was a very hot race, and it comes back in class here. It is the widest, and it is the 2,600 meters, so I don't think it will have any issues at all in finding the right posse. And if it is the best horse in the race, it should be winning. But I think they might just offer a bit more cheek around Serious Moonlight. And if we can get to the pegs, we can hand up to Invitation Only. And I'd want to be on, say, a $6 shot turning for home on the back of Invitation Only after doing not that much work over the 2,600, where they could be a bit vulnerable later in the piece. And yeah, so I think Serious Moonlight's a good each way prospect. And, you know, we'll be locking them as the best each way bet on the program. Now, I've gone with Murano in race 2. And I don't really have to bring up too much footage because I can just tell you, galloped away at the start. But this race and the horses it's versing is basically the same at bet down at Rangiora on the Sunday a couple of weeks ago when it won like a good thing. Comes to Addington again. You just have to forgive it. It is another stand over the 2,600. It's got every chance if it steps away, and I think it should be winning again. If it if is the key word, if it steps away, because these standing starts, you never know. And Jared O'Reilly is usually gets them away, but you know, we don't have Samantha Rotley again, so a little bit wary on that. But I'm keen to just go with Murano again, follow it in. And then we go to race number 4, where we've got Cardwell Bay. This is a fresh up 2-year-old horse, Captain Treacherous filly, and it looks good. Really does look sharp. Did boom home in a nice trial, and we're just going to watch this here as we've got a few decent horses in here. And it was eased back off the arm, I believe, or maybe it did go forward. Yeah, no, eased back off the arm when we went to last. And then we pick it up in the last sort of 400-500 meters, peels for its run, and just look at it really hit the hopples here. And these 2-year-olds, that's one thing you want to be looking at, is you really want to see if they're giving it a go and sprinting hard. And Cardwell Bay comes out into center track, and there's no real horse in this race that can stick on with him. And he's come from last, and he's looped the field, and Robbie's still got a handful, calls a little bit of action there, and just too good, savages the line. So I think drawing the ace, Cardwell Bay will be hard to beat. There's a bit of unexposed, you know, form in this race. There's a few fresh up first starters, so you just have to be wary with that one. But I think Cardwell Bay off the inside, that's where you want to be. Pigs at Addington's. Cardwell Bay, it's he's a star trialist and one to go for one to bet on for sure. Smiffeys Terror, race number 6. This is a horse I really do enjoy. Started off its career with the Hopes, I believe. Then it went over to the Duns, and since arriving at the Duns, it's been going even better. And we've got a pretty interesting little race here. Got a few horses who've been knocking on the door. Got Warlock, who's been hitting the line nicely. Dance Time was a really good winner, but I think it's a sort of horse that doesn't go back to back. I think it's got plenty of gate speed and will be in a long way, but over the 2,600 meters, you don't want to be burning all your chips at the start. You want to be saving them up for one run and then hitting the line at the end of that 2,600. But if we go back into the form line here, we've got Classy Dancer first, beating Classy Dancer here in a 56 home last 800. And then you go to its next race, and it's second behind Cranbourne. We're going to bring this race up because it was from barrier number 1. We've got Smiffeys Terror against Cranbourne, Sounds of Cash, Alter Wise Guy, and Arden's Reality. This is a really good hot form race. You can see Smiffeys Terror has got great gate speed. John Dunn just sort of eases it out of the gate and gets the back of Cranbourne. And we all know how strong Cranbourne is, and he just lights him up down the back. And Smiffeys Terror is the only one who can stick with Cranbourne. And you can definitely tell Cranbourne is in a class of his own because he's pretty comfortable to the line, and Smiffeys Terror is sort of all out there. But he'd have to run just about similar on that, and he should be winning this race, Smiffeys Terror. And we'll just bring up the trial to prepare. I think Fresh Up is a nice asset for him in this race. A few of those horses have been up for a while. It was a standing start. He was slow to begin, but this is a mobile, so we're not worried about that. He gets held up by a runner out the back there, Smiffeys Terror. He's last still with about 800 to go. And he just cruises up with his hands full here. Riley Harrison, I think his name is. And you can see Smiffeys Terror is just jogging. The rest of these horses are jogging at the front, but Smiffeys Terror never asks for anything and hits the line nicely. So you can only imagine it's going to be good Fresh Up. Good for at least a top two. And you might even get a bit of a juicy dividend with there's a few, being at the worst rated horse in the race. So Smiffeys Terror to win, pretty keen off the inside there. Can't really convince anyone else to get over the top of Smiffeys Terror. I think if it leads the gate and it can have options and be on the leader's trail over the 600 meters, should just get up the lane and win. And BetterwithBling, race number 8. We move on to the last of our bets and got a bit of a low rating race here. And I think we're just going to have to go on with the most recent form. It's a junior drivers race. They are scary to bet into, but we did see that form race where we got Serious Moonlight on board. Barrier 12, done a stack of work. You just have to look in this form line. Champagne and Wine, Angus, Loyalist, Roll Your Own. It's been knocking on the door. BetterwithBling finally gets into a grade where everyone's even. Legenda Franco was a bit disappointing last start, and Big Mama Morris's goes all right, but there's no one else in that race that's too scary to look at. Evangelist Fresh Up, haven't seen enough of it yet. And I think BetterwithBling with Mark Hurrell on board just absolutely wins that race with any luck. It's got options to tuck onto the back of Legenda Franco and get it up the lane as there's no back row. So the blinds do go on Legenda Franco, so there's probably an improved effort there. But I think BetterwithBling can tuck onto its back and get it up the lane, or even just get to the front and dictate terms. I think there's options there, and I think Mark Hurrell's the right man to be winning that race. Then we go up to Alex Park for the big night. A few Group 1s, few fillies and mares races. We've got the Brecon Farms 2022 Northern Trotting Derby for the Group 1. We've got the Reharvest Road Cup, and we've got the Trillion Trust Auckland Cup and the Northern Mares Classic. So there's a plenty of stakes available there on Friday night, and we're going to start off with Mr. Chip as our best bet of the program. Race number 2. This is his last chance, and my God, he blew his chips last time. He looked home and hose, really, but there's no one else in this race that should be beating this horse. Midfrulucka was one with a bit of ability and has been knocking on the door, and he was really the only threat to Mr. Chip, but there's no real excuse here for Mr. Chip. He should have been winning that race. He gets to the top easy, Mr. Chip. Dictates the whole time, sets up a solid tempo. The rest fade out. And Midfrulucka, you only have to commend the horse. He obviously handled the slush just a bit better. It's the only excuse for Mr. Chip. He just maybe got to the front and just switched off. But I think Tony Healy, he was revving him up here and he didn't really respond. I think he fell asleep. And then when Midfrulucka comes up alongside him, he sort of goes back to his task again, but by that time it's too late and Midfrulucka gets on by. But Mr. Chip, he gets another good draw. He looks to be the best horse in the race by far. Ahoka Creed, James Stormont, that thing will be pushing the button early and coming out for a look. But there's nothing else in this race that looks to be that scary. We've maybe got Perfect Bet. The Anna Donnelly that's been paraded around as a bit of a horse that might be winning a couple of races, but it's drawn on the back row over the 2,200 meters. So might not get everything its own way compared to Mr. Chip, who's got the leaders trail option again. And you'd hope it would finally get over the bloody line. Thank you, Mr. Tony Hulahy. If you could do that, that would be much appreciated. Then we've got Highgrove in race number 5. I think he's the moral of the night. He's just got ample amounts of ability. And I think with any luck, if the weather's good, he obviously didn't handle the slush on last Friday night. I think if the weather's any good, he'll just roll forward and be too hard, be too tough at the line, and just, absolutely get over the top of them. Double Delight's a little bit of an interesting runner there on the back row, depending on that's what we do. If it leads, it might be up a thread up the lane, but I think Highgrove and John Dunn, they'll just work around the field and get to the top, and you'd be silly to park Highgrove. And even if you did park him, I think he's too classy, too big, too strong. We've also got Emma Frost. She's just as honest as they come. We'll pick up her run here last week. She's got no handicap again. Crystal Hackett gets to drive one more time. And this is in behind Invictus. This was a good, interesting race. We do step up to the 2,700 meters, which I just think suits Emma Frost because she just tries her heart out every single race. And the extra meters will help because she was gaining on them in the end of this race as well. And so she needs it a little wee bit further. She steps pretty honest. There's a couple of ones outside her begin a bit better, and gets into a bit of a tricky spot on the pegs there and gets locked away. But, she's able to work off the fence and come widest on the track. And she really hits the line nicely. And you'd only imagine with a little bit more meters on Friday night, she'll be certainly there or thereabouts, and she's the best each way of the day. Then we've got the old Sunday Sun Self Assured. They don't really need no introduction. They should both just be winning. And then we go to race 9, Manhattan. This horse with Bob Butt, he's training it and driving. He's going up for the weekend. We've got an interesting Magnus Benrose Northern Mares Classic. And it's a horse of 3, 3-horse race. Mimi Coco, Manhattan, Harder Than Diamonds. I think Manhattan's been going great guns down in Canterbury. She likes it up in Alex Park. Bob Butt's got options there. And I think the best horse in that race wins it, and that's Manhattan for me. So happy to take that on. And we've got basically a great night of harness, and there's plenty of good races. So hopefully you can tune in on your Friday night. And hopefully we see Sunday Sound crowned again. So then we move to Sunday. We've got cheeky little Timaru meeting. We haven't been there for a while. So that's sort of a little bit of a difference for us Sunday, a bit of a different geographical location. We've been at Rangiora the last 2 Sundays. And so the race 3 for the best bet of the day, Backburn. All you have to do is look at that field, and then you've got to look at this field, and it's Wheels of Fortune and Absolute Dynamite, and who else but Backburn runs third. It's been absolutely honest work. It's ran a placing in behind Wheels of Fortune twice. It's by far got the best form. It's got great gate speed. It's been up for a few weeks now. It was peaking on its fitness. You can see it rocket out of the arm. Katie Cox will drive it forward, and it will be the best horse in the race, and it'll have the best chance of winning at Timaru. Just probably lead them the whole way. She won't want to muck around. She gets held up on the turn there a little bit, but then Wheels of Fortune just kicks away, and Backburn can't really go on with it, and is a bit tight at the end because these horses in front are good, but she does manage to hang on for third. You wouldn't want it any further. But I think she's gets, I think it's 2,050 meters. Yep, 2,050 meters on Sunday, and that was 2,600. So I think back and trip helps. She can burn early, sit on the top, dictate, and you can honestly, that's probably the best beat of the weekend. Backburn should be winning, and definitely shouldn't be more than about $3. If it's more than $3, put the bloody house on it. I think Backburn's the best bet of the weekend. It might be a bit short. Hopefully it's not under the old $2 quote. It might be, but these are maidens. You don't want to be seeing those real shorties in the maidens, because there's no such thing as a bloody short price favorite in a maiden, especially if it's like $1.45. That would just be boring, very boring stuff. And obviously, no one wants that. No one wants to punt on a horse that's that short. So hopefully there's a little bit of value there to be had on backburn, and hopefully the boys can get amongst. Then we go to race 8. We've got Ko-Fi Shadow, who's been absolutely as honest as they come, and really hit some form. Back-to-back wins, mentally engaged again. It just cruised to the line here last start and the start before that, even though that was a pretty weak race. The form was frank as it came out and won its next start. It's pretty quick away off the tapes. Gets another stand. Down on the inside, it's never really useful. So she had to sort of bail out of the lead, attempt to hold the lead there and just sort of sitting behind the leaders. Was able to work around into the 1-1 with about 800 to go, and just storms on by as it hits the straight, hits Oppels nicely and sort of jogs it in. So Ko-Fi Shadow should be winning on Sunday. And then my two other bets, without looking into it too much, is Jaccka. I think Jaccka's got a bit of ability. Carter's engaged. Looks a pretty weak race to me. Does have a terrible draw out on barrier 9 over the 2050. You might spend a bit too many pennies and be vulnerable late, but I think if Jaccka can find the top, it'll win. And in saying that, race number 7 for the 14,000 meter Geraldine Timaru Winter Cup, the biggest stakes race of the day, we've got Cyrus, who's as honest as they come, 4 seconds in a row, and I think it'll be able to get over the top and get up and just win that race there. Cyrus, it's been good for its connections without winning too many, so it stepped well. It stepped and won during on Kaikoura Cup Day last year at Addington when they had to transfer the meeting. So I think Cyrus can be handy. If it steps away, it'll be a great chance. Then we go to my Aussie picks here. We've got the Wednesday night. Haven't really updated any of these. I think the races are still going on the Wednesday. You're more than welcome to pause and have a look. I think Thursday we got Weren't Watching. Tom Ison, he's usually the special at Tamworth. He's drawn the ace, and that horse is back in class again today. So Weren't Watching should be hard to beat. We got Taimari Sass, ex-Mark Jones runner, had a brave third on its first look at Menangle and behind Tough Love, or in behind some real nice types from memory. I think it was a Group 1 even. So it was a Group 3 or Group 1, but Group place Taimari Sass. So Ballarat race 1 on Thursday should be hard to beat. Then we've got Kenny Keko, who was with the Hopes, and ran some good races in Kaikoura Cup week last year, and showed some ability on the mobile in Addington throughout the late summer here in New Zealand. And now that's gone over to Shannon Price over in Queensland. It's drawn handy over the mobile. It's had a trial to prepare where it ran third. They ran home and some decent time, nothing too crazy. They didn't work it too hard. So I think Kenny Keko can lead on the mobile there with gate speed. It'll be hard to beat. Might get an interesting price around that. Then we got Celsi Bill, who was really good, which I tipped out on my Twitter. If you don't follow it, go to EPSM _ Edgar Pat Media on Twitter and give me a follow. And so I tipped that out. Celsi Bill used to be with Mark Jones, went over to Lawrence Hanrahan or Lawrence Horahan, or I can't remember the last name. But anyway, went over there to Bathurst, sat parked and won. Drawn the back row, but as the only horse on the back row at Newcastle on Friday night. Should be able to work its way into the race and be hard to beat. Then we've got What's Your Secret, who's dropping out of a nice race, back in class, gets the ace. What's Your Secret was a Purdon horse. It's been doing all right for Kieran Morris, and it'll be, up on speed. It's got great gate speed. It'll have every chance to win if it dictates the right tempo. And then we got Rock and Roll Mama, who, bit of an interesting horse this. She was Group 1 placed in the Jewels. She came third and behind Amazing Dream and Plutonium Lady, I think, from memory. And yeah, she's just been really disappointing since being in Australia. She's with Karen Morris, and she just hasn't been liking Australia at all. She's probably a bit homesick now, but she's probably going to be a very short price favorite, as a Group 1 placed horse is lining up in a 48 rated race on Friday night in Newcastle. And I think Rock and Roll Mama should just absolutely piss in if it knows what's good for her. Then we've got Gloucester Park. We've got Boo Ra, used to be with Katie Cox, off the ace. That'll be hard to beat. Then we've got Blitz and Buy. That was our North Island horse. I think it was trained maybe by someone in Cambridge, or maybe someone in Auckland. Can't remember. Blitz and Buy. And then we got Northam, another West Australian meeting. We got Miss Serenade, who used to be with Mark Jones. She's been going all right over in Australia, but she's got a bit of fractious manners. She's galloped off the mobile a few times, but she goes back to Northam. She's won on that track. She's more comfortable there out in the country. It's weaker horses out there. Should be winning on Friday night. Then we go to Saturday. Got Majestic Chick, who's gone over there and is with Josh Dickey now. And that's going to be a tricky race. She's drawn the ace, but One Overall, who used to be with Gavin Smith, has been going absolutely great guns over there, and I think won about 4 or 5 races in a row, but has got about 4 on the back row. It's drawn over the mobile on Saturday night in Melton, so that'll be hard to overcome. And Majestic Chick has shown some good New Zealand form and hasn't had any trials over there that I've found. So Majestic Chick's probably going to be looking to just get it on the board. And from the barrier 1 at Melton, it's always a cheeky position to be in, and it offers a bit of cheek. So there might be a decent price for Majestic Chick. You never know. And then we've got race 6, High Flying Harry, who was with the Duns and won a few races on the grass, High Flying Harry. Then it went over to Shepparton. I can't think it's with Emma Stewart now. I'm not too sure who it's trained by. Off the top of my head, it might be Emma Stewart. But I think High Flying Harry's drawn out nicely on the mobile, and it was a very impressive win first up in Oz. It'll only improve on that. Then we've got 888, the old New Zealand battler. He'll just keep winning. Got a decent draw. We'll be able to get a nice sit, 1-1, 1-2. That'll probably win. Major Annie's a 1 on the up. Won nicely at Maryborough in a 156 mile rate, led them the whole way, was pressured and fought back on the line to win by a head. Then we got Jeremy Wells, interesting runner, race 9. Melton. Jeremy Wells has been going very good at the Wagga track, the Riviera, and Jeremy Wells has just been really solid and has had a few third places to prepare for his first Saturday night meeting. And I think Jeremy Wells has got some great gate speed. He's shown some resilience over in Australia. He's going as good as his TV presenter counterpart on TV. So Jeremy Wells looks to be well rated there in that race number 9 on Melton. Then we go to Albion Park, where we've got Mr. Ibiza, who's been sold over to the McCarthys. And they're up in Queensland preparing for that Winter Carnival. And Mr. Ibiza's fresh up over there, hasn't had any trials, probably just been working around the other horses at the McCarthys in Queensland. Also in that race, We Always Have Faith. Mr. Ibiza obviously was with Todd Mitchell, now with the McCarthys. So that's off the ace draw. That'll be an interesting watch. We Always Have Faith seems to not be going as good as when it was with the Purdens over here. It's now with Grant Dixon. But yeah, finally got on the board. And then race 10, Nor'Wester. Been following it for a little bit with Dean Chappelle's stable. Just a honest little horse, and it tries its heart out. And I think it's drawn the ace again, so that'll be another chance. And then on Saturday night, we also have Menangle. Vincent Van Gogh's fresh up for Peter Russo. They never have any trial form. They just have them ready to go. That's for sure. They've got a good barn that they get them ready for. And Vince Van Gogh was over here, I think with Jeff Dunn, I think it was, maybe down with Anderson Love down south for a bit, and then it's gone over to Australia and has won a couple of times around Menangle and has got some tremendous gate speed, that horse, and I think it's drawn the ace on Saturday night, so it'll be hard to beat. Ultra Orlando was back in action again last Saturday, was very unlucky not to win, lost by an absolute tiny margin of a nostril. One Apollo is now over in New South Wales, and for new trainer Trevor Monday. It's trialled up okay, galloped in the score up though, so you'd want to watch that one. And of course, Town Eco was with the Duns in race number 9 to round out the program there. And Jack training in the bike is just going great guns. Town Echo, that'll probably be hard to beat again, even though it's drawn the car park. Town Echo's been going great. So they're my chances for Australia and New Zealand this week. If you've got any questions, comment below. Remember to follow my Twitter. And yeah, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Hope you guys enjoy. I hope I find some winners for you. And we will definitely see you in the next episode. Rightio. Bye-bye.